Oh, hello, I'm Rosemary Morgan. I'm from London Roots Research, based in London. And I have here with me I'm at RootsTech in 2015 in Salt Lake City. And I have two specialists in DNA, genetic genealogy with me. I'm going to introduce them and ask them to introduce themselves. First of all, Angie Bush, would you like to say a little bit about...
Sure, I'm Angie Bush. I live here in the Salt Lake City area. My main focus is helping people to use DNA as a research tool, whether that's to help them find maybe an unknown parent or something like that, or they're working on their great-grandfather and they don't know where he came from. So I like to incorporate it with traditional genealogical records to find answers to maybe some of those brick wall questions people might have.
Great, and here I have CeCe Moore.
Yes, and I'm a television media consultant. I work on the TV show here, Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr., and also Genealogy Roadshow, doing all of their genetic genealogy research. I also teach a lot of classes and speak at conferences like this one.
Okay, great, that's lovely. Now, there are 3 testing companies, I understand, and at the moment in England we've only had one. We've only had FTDNA available to us, but now we have as from this year, we have 2 more companies. Would you like to say a little bit more about how you think this will change the market in England?
Sure, I'm really excited actually about it because, as Americans, we're all trying to jump and get across the pond, right?
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful that UK testers will be really interested in it. I think even if, they know where they're from and they know their roots, I still think that there's interesting things to be discovered through DNA testing. So we have, like you mentioned, Ancestry DNA just launching earlier this year in the UK, and then 23andMe also available in the UK. And one of the nice things that you get in the UK that we don't get is 23andMe will give you those risk predictions for different medical things that you might have, which is nice for you guys. They took that away from us here in the US, so you've got the full package there now. So that's...
Yeah, I don't think that's been heavily promoted because I only heard about that when I came here, and I just checked today and it was launched in December.
Yes.
So I don't know, I do usually follow announcements in the genealogy world, so I was slightly surprised that maybe they haven't been promoting it very heavily.
I know that they'll be attending Who Do You Think You Are Live, and
Okay.
Joanna Mountain, who is their geneticist, will be doing a speech there. So perhaps there'll be more promotion at that time.
Yeah, that might be the case.
And also their CEO, Ann Wojcicki, is going to be there at another meeting at the same time. So my guess is you'll be hearing more and more about it.
Okay. What do you think about the level of take-up? Do you know anything about the difference between the level of take-up in the US compared to in the UK? Because I get the feeling, it's just a feeling, that I've got the take-up is quite small in
I think
the
right
UK.
now it is. And that's why I'm so excited that it is moving into the UK. So I think we'll be much more.
Yeah, Family Tree DNA has done a lot of outreach in the UK in particular, and promoting conferences, being at Who Do You Think You Are Live.
Yes.
They always have a line
I know,
out the
they
door.
always have a line.
So we are seeing more,
Yeah.
and then Morris Gleason has started the Genetic Genealogy Ireland conference, and so we've been getting more testers there. I know the Genographic Project also had visited, and Spencer Wells had spoken. So I think there's increased interest in it. It's a little bit been slower on the uptake, as you said, but it seems like there's more excitement surrounding genetic genealogy there than there used to be.
Okay. So if we've got people watching who haven't yet tested, have you got any advice for them about why they should test and who they should consider I know it's complicated who they should go and test with, but have you got any advice you could just
Well, they
give
can
them?
meet cousins like me. My great-grandfather was British, and so they'll be able to connect with some of their cousins whose ancestors moved to other places like Australia and the United States. And we have a lot of interesting stories to share about that branch of the family that they might not know since they were separated, and most of them probably lost touch.
Yeah.
As far as where to test, I think all 3 of the companies have their strong points and their weak points. So I think at any of them you can have benefit from testing. I really like the Y-DNA test for a lot of the British testers, and that's through Family Tree DNA. We're able to do a lot of clan research and Irish research through that, and the surname studies, are great because in England your surnames go so far back and are so deep.
So of course the Y-DNA is only with FTDNA.
Yes.
So
if you're interested in your surname and that direct paternal line and seeing where you fit in, then that is a great test to do.
Because I was thinking of as a female, of course I can't do the Y DNA test.
But for finding cousins for branches that moved overseas, I think autosomal DNA is really a great test to take as well.
Okay. Anything you want to add? on that?
I was just gonna add, I don't know that it was mentioned, I don't think we mentioned it yet, that Find My Past and Family Tree DNA announced a partnership this morning.
Yes.
So I am also very excited to see what that means, because that brings to the marketplace. Family Tree DNA, like CeCe mentioned, has been in the UK for a long time, and I think that collaboration between those genealogical records that Find My Past has with that DNA, I think it's really going to open up doors, especially in Ireland, where there's a lack of records. I think that will really help break through maybe a lot of brick walls, especially in Ireland.
We don't really know what the partnership means exactly
We
yet,
don't
do we?
yet. There hasn't been much released on that, but I think it's going to be really good, and I think it's going to bring great things.
I mean, because the way that the Ancestry DNA works, the way I understand it, is you can link it to your tree on Ancestry. Is that right? You can link your DNA. I'm still waiting for my results, so
You'll love that.
I
It's
will
a
love that because I have
wonderful
my whole
benefit.
tree on there. Yeah. So I wonder if Find My Past are thinking the same thing
I hope
because
so.
I hope so,
because
too.
they got this tree and then.
I hope so, because that will be,
Do you think that would
a
be-
wonderful product. So I hope
Okay.
that's what they're doing.
Yeah, with Ancestry DNA, the fact that the DNA results are connected to the family trees really opens up how much you can discover.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to find your connections than it is when you don't have that. And
Yeah.
so both of the other two companies I know are striving to do something like that.
Okay.
It's definitely the strength of Ancestry DNA's product.
The only disadvantage that I see is that I'm going to have to make my tree public, I think, to do that.
Well, you don't have to. You can keep it private.
But then I don't make any links.
Well, you'll still get the shaky leaf hint, which tells you have a common ancestor with one of your matches.
Okay.
But they would have to write to you, or you would have to write to them to figure out who it is. You wouldn't just see it automatically. But you won't get the DNA circles, because the DNA circles, you have to have a public tree for.
Okay. Oh well, it's all lots to look forward to then.
Yes,
I'm
it
really
It is. I think
excited
it's.
by it.
I think it's really exciting. So
Yeah, and I think it's great for Americans and Australians, like you mentioned, who have got British ancestry, if they can find a connection back to their roots through
Well, that's
through
certainly
DNA.
what we want to do.
Yeah.
But I also think it's going to be good for people in the UK. I think they are going to find things out that maybe they didn't know. And just because Americans are mostly the people that have tested so far, we're having a lot of success with finding things. But there's no reason that when it expands into other places and other countries that you won't find something as a, native
Yeah.
Brit.
Yeah.
So
I think also when you get the ancestral origin percentages or ethnicity percentages, I think that most Brits will expect that theirs will just be, 100% British Isles. And I can tell you from experience that's not always the case. Sometimes there are some surprising ancestral origins that go just beyond your paper trail that you are not aware of.
It's funny you should say that because I just checked my autosomal my mtDNA results just now. I still don't really fully understand them, but I've got some German ancestry in there, and I've got nothing German in my tree. So
So you have some matches that have German direct maternal lines.
a large after England, Germany is the second most.
Oh, so that sounds like your autosomal DNA results.
Well, I think it was in my mtDNA.
If you're getting percentages of
no,
ancestral
it was
origins.
number of hits.
Oh,
number
okay.
of
Then yeah,
matches.
it may have been the mtDNA
Yeah.
then. Well,
Anyway, I need to speak to somebody like you,
yes,
basically.
Yes. Well, mtDNA
To
goes way
understand them.
back, so it's certainly
Okay,
possible
so it
that
could
you're
be way
seeing,
back,
yes, a common ancestry from 500 years ago.
So you can see I have a lot to learn. I'm being asked to wrap up, I think. But well, it's been lovely to talk to you, and it's been great. I've enjoyed your talks so far here at RootsTech. We haven't talked much about RootsTech, but hopefully you're having a good time.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we
yeah,
are. And Angie
yeah.
has a talk coming up as well on
Yeah.
Saturday. And
good.
she does a very good job of tying the DNA with the genealogical records and showing how that works.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're more or less done there. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
I just wanted to say one of the greatest things about genetic genealogy is you never know what you're going to find until you test. So people who might not think that they're going to find anything could be very surprised. And I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more success stories from the UK.
Oh, that's great. Well, we must keep in touch and
Yes.
yeah.
I wanna hear about
and
your
I thank you
results.
so much for coming along today and giving up your time.
Thank you for
Okay.
Thanks.
having us.
Yes, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Okay. Bye.